Hello everyone, welcome back to the ESL Pro League. We've just had our first game. It was an absolute banger. NaVi, as you expected, did close it out with a very dominant scoreline. But we're back for the second map. This time around, it's Inferno. So why don't we have something else that's hot? He's in the studio. It's Harry. How you doing, man?
There we go. I feel like maybe that could have been a ginger thing, but who knows?
I mean, just yeah, I'm attracted to you.
Oh, okay. Well,
is
then
what
it's
I
that.
meant.
Oh,
so
there we go. Okay, I'm glad we cleared the air there.
We just so everyone knows, right? Like,
yeah, getting it out there, getting it out in the open.
Well, don't get it out. Not on this stream.
No, okay, that's true. But yeah, speaking of getting things out in the open, you know, after that first performance, I really want to see what Kinguin can do to bring some change into their setups on Inferno. We saw them yesterday, you know, just a mere 24 hours ago, win on this map against NaVi. And it wasn't the most convincing win we've ever seen, but it also wasn't one that, you know, looked like NaVi would have taken it anyway. After a very, very strong start from them, we kind of saw a dominating performance from Kinguin across the board, which was nice to see. However, NaVi, I mean, they've been doing well on this map.
It's true. It's a different beast as well when you look at things. I mean, obviously, with Envious, there was always the conversation that Envious have been looking better and better, whereas NaVi have always looked better than where Envious are currently climbing their way to. And it's quite scary as well, especially after that first map. Obviously, on Mirage, you have to basically look at things and go, okay, fair enough. I doubt we're going to see Kinguin really even sneak this in to be an upset. Most likely this will just be NaVi, lock it down fair and square. Whereas on Inferno, there is a chance that maybe Kinguin can do something, but I still don't think it's going to be a win. I think it'll be a closer scoreline, maybe just as a benchmark. But for a win, I think there's really got to be some serious issues on the side of NaVi. Yeah,
you know, you speak about benchmarking. When we saw Kinguin play up against NaVi just the other day, the scoreline was very close, if you remember. Meanwhile, when NaVi played, it was a very strong performance from Guardian Simple in their game up against NaVi, and that went 16-6. So a lot more just directly in the favor of. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I mean, going off of that alone, we might see Kinguin get slightly more rounds on the cards than what we see NaVi get in their matchup previously, but I still don't see a win. I still don't see a win in their future. But, you know, they could be out to prove us wrong. We saw in the video beforehand, you know, you can't underestimate them. They are a very experienced team. They did a hell of a lot of work to get here in the first place, and I imagine they're going to be out to prove themselves.
It's true. They're not going to want to slip back through and obviously end up back in that Mountain Dew League for the next season and have to try and fight through all over again, as they've done the hard part already. They've made their way through into Pro League. They want to climb up, and they have had a few good results, but it just seems like now it's very on and off. They can beat certain teams that are on their level. When it comes to play, you know, towards the top end of that leaderboard right now, they just don't really have much of a chance. They're not really playing up to the best of their strengths.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think they needed that first map. If they were going to come out of anywhere into this, they needed to have a better showing on the first map. I didn't think they were going to win it, but still need a better scoreline than that. As there was so many rounds they could have actually closed out to at least reinvigorate themselves and actually get a little bit more sort of hype behind them.
Yeah, and that's kind of, you know, yesterday when we saw them playing, there were a lot of smart decisions that we could commend them for. Today we haven't seen that. You know, we've seen a lot of bad decisions, if anything, or a lot of odd decisions. And we already kind of saw them slipping out of what looked like very good form when they played Cobble yesterday. I feel like coming into this one today, Mirage showed that they're not firing on all cylinders, that they have got these issues. And I mean, they had to get them ironed out in what, the 15-minute break that we just had. So hopefully they have, right? I mean, when we kind of look at them in Inferno, a lot of teams in their sort of position neglect the newer maps when they come in. I generally find there's two kind of different ways of looking at it. Either you don't practice them whatsoever and they just become an instant ban for you, or they become your go-to map. A lot of teams, when Nuke came out, we saw teams like Team Spirit and whatnot practicing on it quite a lot, and they're from like the lower echelons, and then they use that to kind of try and ride the wave of success from the fact that a lot of teams didn't bother practicing it until recently as well. I mean, we still see teams now that it's just their insta-ban. They haven't even bothered picking it up. And that's where I feel like Kinguin are fairly strong. They bothered to learn Inferno off the bat, and we've seen them improving. Yesterday was their first game against, you know, a kind of a higher tier team, and we saw them win it. So you never know what they could bring to the table here up against NaVi. But the pistol round going to be underway. NaVi on the CT side. Kinguin going to be kicking things off over on the T side.
It's true. The thing is, as well, as you said, coming into this, Inferno, it was always the staple. The map that if you were a good team, you were good on Inferno. It was kind of the proving grounds to show just how effective you can be. So let's see if Kinguin can try and keep up these good showings they've had in Inferno. As into this round, they do make their slow approach through. Seems like they are going to go for this information play early up towards the A-bomb site, and then a split back in towards B. But look at these CT side players going for the information push. Unfortunately, though, they've been pushed back all the way through Arch. This is not going really the way NaVi want it to. They're actually losing men thick and fast. Everyone's getting picked off. They can go for the pincer towards B now, as there's just one man there trapped trying to stop them. Guardian, though, works his way down mid, finds the headshot on towards Ral, and Mouse can fire back. Edward is going to fall, but Guardian keeps up this pain train. He's doing work right now towards Banana as he finds the frag over towards Furlan. Hungry for more, keeps it up. How has he not been eliminated yet? This is a round that should have gone the way towards Kinguin. They had a great opener, but Guardian's just been allowed to do whatever he wants. He dances around, merrily finding these frags. Simple is hiding in a dank little corner as well, waiting for the right moment to strike. Mouse is going to offer himself up, pops into his hidey hole, and gets taken down. Harry, what has gone on there?
I mean, we just saw the Guardian two-step, right? He's dancing around the bullets, doesn't let them hit him somehow. Somehow he doesn't die, and him not giving up control of Banana, that's exactly what Kinguin needed. They have players coming in from CT, they have players pushing up Banana. He shouldn't have survived that. There was no way that anyone but Guardian could have survived that situation, because he is a man of miracles, and that's going to be NaVi to find themselves the pistols. Though they didn't need any more advantages heading into this, they are going to have a buy into this round, and already Kinguin setting everyone up towards mid. Looking like A is going to be the site in question, and while NaVi, they've fallen back very passively in towards the site. Guardian situated over towards Library, just watching, waiting with bated breath. As everyone else from Kinguin pushing out over towards middle, you can see that Ralen's trying to grab control of apps, but I feel like Edward's going to have something to say about that. Actually, doesn't have much to say as he's going to be silenced. A quick Tech 9 shot to the face, going to be all it takes to take him down, but it's Guardian to try and remedy this affliction they have got. But it's only going to be one frag as Miu is quick to try and trade. Flamey in from CT, quick up through Speedway, in through Arch, but Mao's going to be able to find one with the Tech. Now retreating back in towards Archway. Got to watch out because Seized pushing up through mid, going to be the thorn in his side. He knows where Simple is, but he has no idea that Seized is hot on his heels, rounding the corner, down he goes, and that's going to be NaVi to find themselves a second, but at a heavy cost.
Yeah, a lot of casualties there. 3 men forced to rebuy weaponry into this following round. Now, that's actually quite good for Kinguin. It's what they wanted to do. Sure, they didn't get that bomb plant down, so they don't get a big cash injection and aren't able to propel their way through and get the buyout into this round. But nevertheless, it was actually a good showing. If they can try and at least keep that level of damage up into these eco rounds, it will stop NaVi's economy from ballooning out of control. But they're going for a very aggressive strategy here. You can see a 2-2 push actually coming out as they want to take this map control early, and it works massively for them. Simple comes in 1 kill with that M4. Edward takes 2 with the UMP. So not only do they find the frags, they're also getting good money off the back of this. The last 2 players on the side of Kinguin are spread thin as well, Harry, and they're just getting dropped all over the place. No casualties for NaVi now. Now, that is the worst case scenario for Kinguin. Not really how they wanted the round to go, but at least finally they have the money to play with as we get into the real deal here.
Yeah, I feel like we're not going to see anyone bar Guardian opt to buy anything here, and even he's going to stick with what I was going to say. It was weird that he would be the one player to buy up, so they're just going to go for a completely null investment round. Nades bought up, but that's $1,000. They're looking to make money. They're looking trying to get one for free and just propel themselves ahead in terms of their economy. They're confident, and you can tell. And while that Molotov going to be able to hold back the push on Banana, that was their big plan. 3 players here, but the utility rating on in is the artillery doing some serious damage. And now that Molly going to force these players out. Furlan first to go around the corner, but he's at the mercy of these MP9s as death reigns through. Guardian finally going to be dealt with, but it's still Flamey to be a bit of a threat, and he peeks out wide. Furlan going to taste the brunt of the MP9 spray. And now it's Mihu and Ral in 2v3. These SMGs doing serious damage. They've upgraded them to AKs now, and this is where they become threatening. Mihu does dispatch of Flamey at least. But in the meantime, Simple's rotated around, and he's not playing around. He's got an M4. Waiting behind the sandbags, and here comes the knife. Down goes Mihu. It's all on Ralan. 1v2, an AK, the bomb, a minute left on the clock, and a dream.
Made mincemeat out of Miku there. That is not great. Ralan here, as you said, tiptoeing his way around, hoping to at least find something. It's a 1 versus 2. Potential for this to actually be winnable if he can get the drop on the opposition. He finds the opening frag here. Harry, this is huge now. Executing Edward. It leaves him in a situation that does play in his favor. The bomb can go down. He can fall back, but look, he's fairly low. 24 HP. Simple has an abundance of nades to work with. That HE, if dunked upon him, should blow him out of the server, but it goes far. It misses him. Molotov comes in as well, but it looks like that is going to be too far out of reach as well. He's allowed to stay alive. Tucks in, hunkers down, and just has to wait this one out. If you can get the drop on Simple, it would be a huge round to open things up for Kinguin. This 1 versus 1, Simple taking his time though, clearing the angles, slowly trying to work out where exactly Ram is. He gets the drop on him. It takes a lot of bullets, but he rips his way through with a hailstorm, tears him to shreds, and Kinguin do get that opening round on the board.
Yeah, well, that's great for them on paper. They get that first round. Let's not forget that NaVi invested nothing into that. They've got plenty of money still. The AWP up on Guardian, and this is arguably their first real buy. They've let Kinguin and get one, but now Kinguin are in danger of having that economy quickly reset. And that one round we're going to come back to haunt them. As they're low on money, they only keep one player alive, and Guardian's taking the aggressive peek in towards middle. Doesn't find anything on the back of it, but he's still hungry, foaming at the mouth, going to continue his aggression, as does Edward over towards Apps, and actually he's going to falter. Rallen to find the opener. Guardian now here to try to remedy this affliction that they've been diagnosed with, as he does come round up in towards Apps, smokes it off, and now just waiting to see if he can catch anyone on the cross. But Mihu's already one step ahead, all the way down and over towards Boilet. Now just waiting in Apps to try and see if he can catch a lonely Guardian on his own.
Simple flashbang over towards mid, allowing his teammate to peek out. They are going to try and work out if anyone is close by, waiting for the right moment to strike. Guardian does actually find Miku there, will execute him as well, leaving just 4 players, one of them limping around as he's almost dead. That's going to be Rallen. Furlan also goes down here, so he's just getting worse and worse by the second for the side of Kinguin. They're just getting picked off. They have no room to try and trade these frags. Luckily, Miles will actually find the one there back on towards Flamey, but it looks like it's already as good as done. I mean, Rallen on 1 HP, now dead, executed by Guardian. Didn't even really need the AWP in that scenario, but will overkill in there as well. It's just Miles. He's tiptoeing around. He looks confused. He looks a bit lost. Really not another great round here. And that's the reset coming through as well, as you said.
Yeah, I mean, you know, bomb being dropped out in the open, Guardian's just going to lock it down, and okay, he doesn't even need vision. He just knows where players are. It's going to be a headshot through the pillar over by Boiler, and that will be NaVi to find themselves there. 4th, Kinguin immediately reset. Don't get a bomb plant. Don't do much into that round. And now they can be at the full brunt of a poor economy. We can see, though, Sparrow's brought on down. The rest of the team going to follow suit, as it does look like it's going to be a force buy on the cards. Rallen actually buying up an AK, throwing that over to Mihu, and they're going to try and use him as a catalyst rifle for the side of Kinguin. But Simple, taking the aggressive peek on mid. He had to spawn for it. He's already here with the AWP. No one's crossed out in the open. He didn't get there fast enough to spot the one player, then the former Sparrow, and everyone else pushing in over towards Apps. As Edward does make the right call, smokes it off, and now just waits, holding his breath to see if anyone pushes up into his line of sight.
Eager for this push to come through. You can see as he revs his engine, foot on the pedal, Harry. Looks like he was going to try and make a push in there, but does actually back off, plays it smart, and waits for the right moment to strike when they play into his hands, when they spring the trap, as they get themselves up close and personal. Now they go for the burst play, but the first frag will actually go the way of Guardian. There's Edward with the backstab as well, as he tears his way through them. This UMP reigning supreme right now. Rallen will find one lucky kill on towards Simple, but that's all he gets. Then the kills come back in the favor of NaVi. They scavenge that weapon as well, so anything really they lost was a UMP. Simple just has to buy some armor, has 8k as well, so it's not like it even really affected them at all. And Kinguin, they are broken once again. They are out begging for something to try and help them into this round, and this is where Flamey's MP9 is going to be so sublime.
Yeah, I mean, he stands to make a lot of money on the back of this round. It is just a bunch of Polish players with their Glocks out over on the T side, as we can see. They're down over towards bottom mid, taking things slowly. Guardian's got aggressive, though, and that's going to be the order of the day as he pushes in through Apps. Edward making some noise in mid, baits these players on up, and this is where they're going to be vulnerable to Guardian. The backstab coming in on the back of the AWP. Edward falls on back. They have pushed on up towards the site, and they're fairly close. These Glocks can do some damage at close range, but look at this. The MP9 roaring up mid. Simple over towards Library. Actually, it's going to go down at the hands of Mouse, and now they've got to worry a little bit. They've let Team Kinguin just infest this site. Furling going to be able to deal with Guardian. Mouse has picked up an M4, but will go down to Flamey. Edward next to go down. Furling dispatches of Flamey on the flank, and now it's all on Seized, who is in the backline, coming in from balcony. All they had was Glocks, and somehow Kinguin, they've done so much damage. Seized, 1v2, got to try and clutch this out. They don't have armor, an AWP and an M4. Aim punch going to take full effect, and that's if somehow they don't die off the first bullet, but look at this push from Sparrow.
Seized, making his play in, trying to clear his angles. He's aware of Furlan's location, but he can't get the angle upon him. It's going to be so hard for him to try and take the fight there, and Furlan will strike him down, smites him with that AWP. Kinguin get a second round on the board. Scary factor is, though, is this going to be what we saw last time? Where they do get that round, but then the reset comes into effect and just leaves them broken. NaVi really fighting their way through. The AWP back on Guardian, everyone else onto the teeth for these M4s. Let's see if Guardian can actually get the opening pick here with this AWP, though. Well, peek his way out. There is going to be the other AWP on the other side. Sparrow edging to the side. Smart play from Guardian, though. He isn't going to run any risks here.
No, he knows the economy of Kinguin will be able to sustain... well, I mean, they saved the AWP anyway on Sparrow, but They know that it would have been good enough standing to have a long-range rifle in this engagement, so he doesn't want to take the peek in mid. He knows he didn't have the best spawn, so he does play it safe. And now 3 players for Kinguin pushing up Banana. That smoke's there. Going to allow Flamey to have some safety, just to fall on back and towards the site for the time being. Mihu's already been tagged down low. He's just waiting over towards top mid as Ralin does go down. No one's there to trade. They lose that one lurk that they've been depending on in these couple of rounds. Usually Ralin is kind of the guy that we see separate from the rest of the pack. Mihu was in a great spot to try and help out, and as a result, that man advantage very quickly swinging the way of NaVi. No one in a great place to try and find an equalizer. I mean, Kinguin, they might have control of Banana, but that's really gained them very little, and they've already lost a man, and a hell of a lot of damage has been done to Mihu.
Yeah, this leaves them in such a tight situation already into the round. Sure, you do have that manpower, as you said, but it's only to take one bullet to remove him from the scenario. I mean, he can't really go in and try and create any openers here, as he'll be picked off so easily, especially with the location that Simple's in. Sure, you flashbang over. Actually, no smoke going up is going to bring him a little bit late, so he's able to push his way through. This is scary. They do brush in towards the bomb site, though, but Seized on the scene of the crime is laying down an abundance of bullets, finding these headshots quite easily. Flamey as well for 2 of his own. And that's just it. That's as good as done. The reset comes back into effect, and it's just awkward. You can see they have a little bit of money to play with, so they can distribute that around, but most likely they're just going to force up a couple of pistols into this. Ooh,
and that's where they catch you off guard. That's where they go for the AWP AK UMP buy. And they're going to go ahead and try and stick it to the man. I mean, you know, Sparrow doesn't have armor, doesn't have anything. Instead, just going to be on the AWP solo, trying to be the catalyst AWP. It does have a decent spawn for mid, though doesn't land the shot on the player crossing. That was their opportunity to have a very good start into this round. Simple just very badly bunny hopping across. More jumping than anything. And Sparrow doesn't capitalize. As a result, they find themselves still in this 5-on-5. No entry to open it up just yet, and they're stacked up on the other side of this smoke. But look at the positioning of NaVi to deal with this. They're in great places. Simple will bite the dust, but it's Edward to find 2. We've seen him do great things on this A site just last week, and he's looking to try and do that much more, as he's already found 2. Guardian's going to get another. This push just being torn limb from limb. Edward lining them up and knocking them down. It's all on Mouse, and Edward poised to get a 4th. Down goes Mouse. That's NaVi to find themselves yet another round on the board. 2-7. And there just seems to be no brakes on the NaVi train.
It's true. It is steamrolling its way through, smashing through everything that Kinguin can actually post up to try and stop it. And it is crazy to see. That A bomb site is looking great in terms of how they have been able to defend it. You can see Simple as well. He's going to read that cash. He's going to go for the MP9 buy. Why not? He knows he can get a huge cash builder off the back of this. Nice nade usage early. Look at that. Just rolling down. The splash damage is huge. Furlan, he's basically as good as dead a few seconds into the round. That is going to come back to hurt Kinguin even more so. Looks like they're just going to group up though, go for a Wolfpack burst towards the A bomb site, but I wouldn't be surprised they get picked off here. Guardian should find an easy frag to open it, and then he has backup of his teammates to just pick them off as well. Simple there with the MP9, should just rip his way through anyone that pushes up.
Yeah, mid, these unarmed opponents, and C's going in with the aggression. It's just going to be like shooting fish in a barrel at this point for NaVi. And well, Furlan going to taste the brunt of that up close and personal. Guardian going to get one on a roll, and here comes the push. Him and Simple, they do combine, but it's Guardian to do the damage. Ooh. One stylish bullet through this cranium of Mihu. And that's going to be NaVi to find themselves in 8th. 6 rounds ahead. Only just getting enough money now for Kinguin on their T side to buy up, and still within the realms of being reset. If NaVi pick yet another round up, and there's no reason to suggest that they wouldn't at this point, they could very easily find themselves 10-2 in no time. So Kinguin, this is pivotal for them to make their resurgence, their last stand here.
It's got to be now or never. They need to try and do something simple. He takes the fight towards mid this time around. Doesn't really find too much though, just clearing his angles as he daintily walks along like it's his everyday job, his normal stroll to work. Peeks back towards mid though. Now there's something to try and do damage upon. But unfortunately he misses. That could have been a massive opener for the side of NaVi. Does allow Kinguin to stay alive with full numbers for just a little bit longer into this round. As they do approach, you can see them posting themselves just outside of mid. Flashbang goes over. Great teamwork as they now brush their way in. All out aggression as they push through. But can they get these frags? Seized is there, waiting with an 8 in his hand for the right moment to try and draw them off. Smoke goes through. He's posted up, ready for it. And you can see Kinguin as well. They realize they can't push through at this point. They have to just hold back, and Simple is actually able to get the opening frag.
Yeah, they are locked in. They're committed to this, and well, commitment's always been a bit of a problem for these guys. And Furlan, never mind, not for him. He makes his way up mid, and he's married to that bomb. We're going to be picking that up now, heading in towards the site. Ralin will go down. It's all on Furlan. 1v3, and Flamey quick to find him. Guillotines any chance. of him getting that bomb down and any sort of resurgence coming in from Kinguin as they find themselves on the back foot once again and no money. And now V1 money isn't an issue for them. They've got stacks of it built up in their bank accounts. It stands to get even stronger into this round. As Kinguin just go for pistols across the board. Ferlin does have some armor to play around with, but that's really it. A couple of deagles here and there for them to take the longer range engagements, and 3 players early on up towards Banana. Flamey is here. And that nade, okay, Sparrow's going to go down. He should take up basketball because that was the best slam dunk we've seen in a while. Down goes Sparrow. And already a great start here for NaVi.
Kills coming through. Edward, easy pickings at this point as they try and make their play towards that B bomb site. The nades do come through. Mouse is going to make it easier as well as he takes out his own teammate. Guardian does a little bit of damage on towards Mouse, but Miku actually does fire back there with a deagle. He's also recovered an AWP as well. He's left himself in a 1 versus 3, sure. He's already killed 2 men, though, and he is hungry for more, which he can connect. A flick of outrageous capacity. Finds the frag back on towards Seized. Could this be achievable? Roaming his way around right now, has to recover the bomb. He has a minute to play with in this scenario as he slowly tiptoes his way down, trying to go undetected. Guardian is there. He has an AWP of his own. It just depends if he can spot him out, pick him with the deagle. Trying to play up close. One tag goes through, but can he actually pick him out? Waiting for the right moment. You can see Guardian just going to get the hell out of there. He is pent in if he tries to make his play towards B. Running with his knife out. Flamey will find him.
That flick was actually amazing. But yeah, he didn't anticipate Flamey still being on towards Banana. Figured they both would have kind of been closer to the bomb because they knew exactly where it was dropped. And ultimately, it was just kind of the fact that Guardian could call the footsteps exactly where they were heading. Flamey knew he didn't have to move, didn't have to rotate. And that will be them to find a 10th as they enter double digits. Kinguin now buying down. Sparrow's had the AWP tossed over to him, although I'd keep it on me after the performance we just saw. Sparrow watching for the cross out towards mid. Guardian is there, posted up with an AWP of his own, but doesn't peek into the waiting arms of Sparrow. Now 3 players once again on towards Banana. The same default we've seen them do time and time again, but this time Mao's looking to be very unhealthy early on. Already tagged down at 17 HP. Smoke's in the way and Simple to capitalize on this first frag. Rallen keeps getting isolated over in apps, keeps conceding that first early man advantage. And now once again, a similar situation. Mihu desperately trying to equalize it out. Does at least this time find Edward. Puts it back into a 4-on-4. The bomb's rotated over here towards A, and Mihu's going to keep the aggression going. Guardian peeks out wide. Does manage to deal with the threat that is Mihu, and now it looks like they're going to turn their attention back towards Banana.
Seized. Peeks out, and Sparrow will shoot him down so easily there. They make their play through, hoping to find some more damage. Flamey is on the scene, will peek through, but just caught off guard as they easily pick him off. They've taken complete control of the B bomb site now. They have secured it as their own territory. Bomb will be planted. This forces the hand of NaVi. If they're going to go for this, they have to do so soon. They have 2 kits, but it's a 2 versus 3. Going to be a bit awkward, especially as you manage to get picked off. But Sparrow actually repositions. He could have found a very easy frag there to make this even easier for them. Peeks back into it, but this time Guardian finds the frag. They will keep this pain train rolling as well. They burst their way back in towards the bomb site. This dynamic duo can achieve so much. Guardian peeks through but misses the shot, but Simple can trade it. Headshot galore. One more frag has to go his way. Tries to tap the bomb to force the face to come out, but he's struggling to locate it. Things get a little bit awkward. He has to react now. Peeks out to find Ferlin, but he's caught with his pants down. Stumbles with the nades. Ferlin finds the frag, and Kinguin get another round.
That was down to the wire, and I mean, you know, if he found the bomb in the smoke a little bit earlier, then we would have seen a lot less disorientation. You could see how confused he was. He taps it, and he kind of spotted him out just at that last second, thinking originally maybe he'd rotate around to Banana to watch the plant. That's of course where it was planted for. So just kind of gets caught out, a little bit disorientated and confused there on the site, and that will be Kinguin to find themselves a 3rd, but they're going to need a lot more than 3. They've got to try and carry this forward. 3 players for NaVi over towards Banana, a complete change of plan from them as Guardian lights up the first. Ferlin going to go down, an early man advantage secured, and Mouse wants to try and refrag, wants to try and make something happen, but he's waiting on the other side of this very, very thin, very, very tempting wallbang spot, and around in the corner, Guardian peering downrange. Could light another player up here. 3 players for Kinguin over towards A, looking like it's going to be the order of the day. And okay, Mouse is going to go down. A nice quick flick courtesy of Guardian. Now they boost him over the top of the wall to try and spot out more threats down Banana, but it doesn't matter. Kinguin, they're already executing out towards this A site.
They get themselves ready to make this play back on towards the A site. The Molotovs will be going out. Everyone is ready for this push to come through. Sparrow has the AWP playing the contact star, but he's actually going to get hit with a grenade right on top of his head there. Rallen will find the frag, though, back on towards C's now. Rallen, again, trying to keep this going over towards Arch. No one else is there. They can just bide their time, but Edward strikes. Finds the frag back on towards Sparrow. That's that AWP out of commission now as well. There's another one going to go down. Simple will find the kill back on towards Miku. And Rallen, sure, he's got through Arch, but what can he really achieve on his lonesome?
Guardian isn't going to see this coming, but he misses the shot, and now Guardian knows he's there. This is the one player I wouldn't want it to be in this scenario with, and he's watching the angle. It's going to be fully flashed. Rallen does find that one frag, but he's got to hightail it over towards B. There's very little time left. Player's hot on his heels. Flamey's going to hear him just gunning for it, but apparently he didn't, and he's actually going to take it slowly. That does allow Rallen to get in towards this B site. Bomb's going to go down, but he's got players chasing after him. Going to be getting the bomb planted. Not in a great spot to hold this off. Flamey spots him out, but will be dealt with. Rallen putting it in a 1-on-2. Got to ace it to win this round, but he's firing on all cylinders. He's already found 3 frags. Simple and Edward, the 2 players left. Tasked with trying to retake this site. One in from Banana, one from CT. The crossfire is going to be set up, and Rallen just looking at the water fountain, holding his ground here, trying to play the off angle. In comes the nade. Simple spots him out, and he will go down. A valiant effort, but ultimately NaVi, they find themselves an 11th round.
Good to see as well there once again, shaping up to be sort of in the realms of what we expected from the previous matchup where they went through with an 11-4 half. That could be potentially on the cards here, or it might be even worst case scenario for Kinguin. As look at the money they have to play with going into this 15th and final round of the first half here. Nothing. They are completely broken. You see a couple of pistols in play, a scout on Sparrow, and just, well, 2 AKs actually, so it's a little bit better, but still not fantastic. NaVi, though, they are armed to the teeth, like bounty hunters ready to strike upon their targets. Guardian will peek out towards mid. Spot Sparrow actually takes a tag from the scout, knocked down to 31 HP.
Yeah, they are going to be very, very quick to act, though, boosting up Edward to watch mid. If any smokes go down, he can peer over the top. C's going to be going aggressive down Banana as well, just trying to keep the pressure on these players. Means they can't afford to rotate Rallen out because now they have to be constantly wary of that flank coming in from behind. Simple takes the peek. He's going to be tagged down as well. This scout worth its weight in gold for them right now. They've done a lot of damage on the back of it as Simple and Guardian both tag low. The dynamic duo of NaVi not looking too healthy. Smoke's going to go down. It's going to render them useless. Just nullify these positions. Guardian trying to hug the edge of it. Might be able to spot Mihu, and he does, so he'll go down. A lot of damage has been done, but they haven't been able to capitalize on it just yet. Furlan up through short. A smoke from Guardian, rendering his position useless. Sparrow finally finds Simple. The damage he did earlier on going to be paying off. And the equalizer will be found. Edward's still hiding in pit, though. Now he strikes, pouncing on out. Furlan goes down. He's looking for a second, going to get 2. He spots out a 3rd as Rallen fires some shots down range. Does deal with C's, but they've still got to worry about Edward, who's the thorn in their side. Nade onto the site, slam dunk. Sparrow's going to go down. It's all on Rallen. 1v3. Got to try and clutch it out. And Guardian says no. That's going to be NaVi to find themselves a 12th. Kinguin only have 3. The action can only get better from here on in. But we're going to have to throw to a very quick break, and we'll be back with even more action after that.
Very quick half from NaVi there, just tearing their way through. No chance of slowing down. I mean, even more dominant than the previous matchup. That was a crazy result then. You come through with a 12-3 scoreline. To be honest as well, if they pick up pistol, it's over already. There's not really much you can say about that.
That's the horrid thing, right, for Kinguin. An 11-4 is okay because it's kind of redeemable, right? If you pick up the pistol, you've closed the gap substantially. If you lose it, you've still got that 1-round buffer before match point. Whereas, you know, they're not going to have that. If they lose this pistol, then that's it. There'll be a 15-2 knocking on their door, and suddenly they're going to find themselves in a very bad spot. And there were a lot of problems for them there, like so much we could speak about, but the main one that sticks out is Sparrow, right? I mean, he was someone who we said, yes, they couldn't find his footing with the AWP, but still had a good performance with rifles today. I mean, especially on Inferno, he's a player you need to have doing well with the AWP. In all the games they've won, he's been someone who's performed well along with Mihu, neither of them really stepping up. But Sparrow, so far down at the bottom, so far gone, constantly losing every initial duel with the AWP. I mean, out-AWPing Guardian's a tall order anyway, but he's losing to everyone he fights.
Yeah, and it was awkward because that's the thing. We needed to see at least something from him to be a bit of a difference maker. The fact that he was able to perform better with a scout in his hands is, you know, it's kind of questionable at that point. But it's scary because as well, Kinguin, they don't really have much of a lifeline left going into this. And as well, you've got to imagine their heads are probably going to be down after that. It wasn't a great first half. Obviously, starting on their T side is never going to be easy for them. But then again, I can't really say that many good things about their CT half from what we saw when we actually saw them up against Envious last time. It was sloppy to start with. It was a slow burner.
It was actually their T side where we saw them start to kind of liven up a bit. And don't get me wrong, I mean, the CT side had some nice adjustments to it, but it did seem like Envy were able to outsmart them from a tactical point of view. Their CT side was nothing in comparison to their T side. So yeah, it's going to cause some serious problems for them.
We saw how weak their A site was. That was the major point, right?
Yeah.
That A bomb site got hit, I believe, like 90% of the rounds. We saw 2 hits towards the B site when it was actually over, when they were versus Envious. The 2 hits towards the B bomb site, that was it. The rest of the time, it was always on A. They were able to get out through apps every time. They couldn't hold them back. And to be honest, when you look at this as well, it's going to be easier for NaVi to gain that mid control towards the A site than it was for Envious, really.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, NaVi aren't a team that, you know, you can kind of have that much ground. You can't have a weakness such as an entire bomb site. Even having a single area is an issue, but having just the A site being your inherent weak point is something they're going to exploit the hell out of. And, you know, I mean, they've done their research. They're a team that know maps like the back of their hand, so they're going to know exactly what to exploit. And we're just going to, I imagine we're just going to see that A site get hit time and time again. And if that doesn't work, then we're going to see the CT splits like we saw from yesterday. That was incredibly strong as well, if you remember. The other thing as well, I mean, Ralin is someone who, while he is doing okay on the leaderboard, the actual frags he gets have been so incredibly low impact, you know, he may as well have not been getting them at all. He's constantly playing over towards apps on his own. It almost seemed like they were a little bit tilted there towards the end just because, you know, I mean, he was never with the team, and I get, you know, that's kind of where we're used to seeing him play. It is a lot of the time over on his own, not really sticking with the rest of the team. That's what you'd expect from him. But when the results aren't there, I don't think you should keep going for that. You know, time and time again, he lost the duel in apps. They were always a man down. And then you already have Sparrow underperforming anyway, so it's effectively a 3v5 from that point on in. We
saw a lot of aggressive plays that did cause mistakes. You know, it spelt a lot of the issues that happened there was because they tried to take the initiative. They wanted to try and take some of those fights early, and NaVi were just able to overpower them in those sort of those aiming scenarios. You know, you take those aim battles. If you don't have the confidence behind you, you can't win them. You just peeking for no reason. That's just what we saw consistently. So it was very awkward there. Has to be completely different coming into the second half, as this is it for them. You know, this is the second map. This is the second half. This is your last chance saloon. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. Kinguin, can they bring something else to the table here on their CT half? Let's have a look what they're actually going to go for. The 1 smoke and kit on Furlan. The rest of them go for armor across the board. You know, situated in that 2-3 setup as you'd expect. Mal's going for the early peek towards Banana though, and it's an all-out hit from the T's. NaVi bursting their way through. They are banging on the door.
Yeah, the gravity is just insurmountable. Smokes and flashes in towards his side, and that's going to render Mihu relatively null and void. The push coming on in, and all this pressure going to be on Mouse. The player in CT can't connect anything. He's got to do a lot of work on the back of the site. Sparrow will fall as Edward finds the first. Mihu able to get 1. Mouse falters. Mihu's still alive and kicking until Guardian finally snuffs him out, and now it's Ralin and Furlan. 2v4 making their way back in from this A site. Ralin's so late on this rotate now, and he's just making his way up through Banana. Furlan's been tagged down at 4 HP, going to die in 1 shot to Seized, who does take the peek as they double peek on out onto him, and now it's just Ralin. 1v4, would love to see him pull this off, but ultimately that lengthy rotate up Banana doesn't accomplish anything for them. And that's NaVi to find the pistol, 13-3, and at this point, I would say, I mean, it's looking like it could be all said and done unless Team Kinguin can pull something out of the bag in either this round or the match point round. And that's if they don't decide to force buy into the next.
That's the thing. It kind of needs to be now as well, because these are the rounds that normally Kinguin can somehow pull out of nowhere. They pull it out of thin air because they do have these CZs to work with. They have 1 smoke and a flash. There might be a little bit of potential for them to actually catch them off guard with some interesting plays, but even then, NaVi should just tear their way through. Look at Simple here as well. He's just on a bit of a solo mission, hoping to catch some of them off guard. The CTs, they have got very aggressive as well into the round. They might actually find the bomb here, but Edward will kick it off as he finds the frag back on towards Mouse. He is low, though.
Yeah, Rallen actually bypassed Simple completely. They think it's clear, so he's going to be in the back line, and he's a real threat to these guys right now. They have no clue he's here. Simple cleared out Apt. He didn't spot anyone. So Rallen's been allowed to get past, and he can cause a lot of problems. He's not going to be firing off shots too early. The rotate's already fully over towards this B side. They've just got to buy time for Rallen to pounce. He's going to engage, finds the first on a Guardian, but I know exactly where he is. The peek going to be coming in from Edward, but he's tagged down low. Rallen with a knife picks up the UMP. And now at this point, he's still a huge threat. Only 12 shots, hasn't opted to reload. Doesn't really have time to because Seized is hot on his heels just waiting on the other side of this wall, but they have them boxed in. It's Simple who's going to be the linchpin for NaVi, coming in through CT, looking to wreak some havoc. And he's sneaking on up, but Rallen to find Seized. They've dropped the bomb. Down goes Edward as well. It's all on Simple. A Saw-Off and a Dream. And I would love to see him clutch this out 1v3 with this gun. The king of all guns, the Wasteland Princess, as he makes his way around the corner. That's his nickname. And now Simple peeking on out. The range on it isn't that great, so he will go down. And that's going to be Kinguin, as you said, pulling one out from seemingly thin air.
Yeah, for some reason they are able to just win these weird rounds, right? And that was really odd. Obviously, you could see them just working together, though. They had good angles, peeking at the right time. The T's just had to try and second-guess themselves in the plays they wanted to go for, and just got torn to shreds because of it. And that is a very, very awkward round coming through. Now, though, Kinguin do actually have a lifeline here. They should get this full round. You get 5 rounds on the board, and they have saved themselves from getting put instantly onto that match point scenario where they weren't able to make any mistakes. At least now they have some room for error. Not much, but a little bit more than they would have.
Push out through mid, though. Already able to one-spoil at Rallen. And actually, Sparrow's going to go down. Edward making quick work of him with the PT-50. Fell in there, able to capitalize on the caught-out Guardian. He was out in the open. Bomb, though, has been allowed to make its way out through mid. They could easily wrap around in through CT and find themselves out on that B site. No one's actually watching it right now. And as Simple rotates back down mid very, very swiftly, they have got to watch out for Mouse, who's gone aggressive. But now he's going to opt to rejoin his team, and it looks like they might fold in through CT. And this is where they've got to be careful. They spot Simple out as he does take that peek. He's going to be tagged down low. That's Bomb spotted as he wraps around through Apps. The other two players, they're curious about going in through CT, but they have no information as to whether or not it is clear. And as Ferlin tries forcing the issue, he's going to go aggressive. Edward's got to rotate back around. The only player with the rifle. Seized will fall. Simple next to go down. And then Edward caught out in the open. Rallen from pit as him and Ferlin lock down the A site. 13-5 Kinguin. They do manage to find themselves that second round. But now NaVi have the money. They have the economy to buy down.
They've got the cash out on either side. Everyone has donned their weapons. There is actually going to be a Galil and a UMP in play, though, on the side of NaVi. Guardian with a Galil of all weapons, interestingly enough, there as well. Why do they didn't actually just go for a UMP or something of the sorts? But let's find out what they can actually do with the weapons. Early into this round, all its aggression towards second mid, but look at Rallen's position. He finds the opening headshot on towards Edward, will take him down. It's a nice, juicy little opening frag. He can back off now as well, just sit on towards the site, hold back with his teammates, sees towards B, will be spotted out by Mouse as well. He's up close and personal. He doesn't realize, though, he's brushed his way through. Seas can take him down, but at least the trade is there. Miku will find the kill back onto him.
The rest of NaVi, though, they're over here towards A. And with only Ferlin and Rallen here to hold back the tide of NaVi, they are going to be having a hard time of it. Smoke goes out for Apps. Ferlin having to reposition, and Flamey coming up behind Rallen in mid. He does hear him at least now, trying to get back in towards the relative safety of the site. You can see Sparrow's rotated round from B. They leave Mihu alone to watch the push up through Banana. A lot of pressure on both Sparrow and Rallen, and while Rallen's no stranger to pressure, going to be applying some of his own. Guardian going to go down, but Simple takes the peek on a Sparrow, and he bites the dust. Flamey dispatches of Rallen. It's back into a 2-on-2, and only Ferlin here to hold down the site. Over towards Pit. Just waiting with bated breath, allowing them to cross into the site. Doesn't want to give his position away too early. Got to buy time for the rotate to come in from Mihu, who was all the way over towards Banana now, and he's just making his way up through mid, taking it slowly, and he's going to be burning in the fire and flames. Flamey, meanwhile, capitalizing on that as he gets forced out. It's all on Mihu. 1v2.
Makes his approach for him. Smoke goes down to try and aid him into the situation. Will block off a little bit of line of sight. Realizes where the players are. Let's transfer some damage over, but it isn't going to be enough. Flamey was ready. The AK was out. And he can spray him down there, even. You can see Kinguin now as they work their way back into it. They have a bit of money to play with, but it's all over the place. It's broken. It's not too fantastic. They've got the Mag 7 on Sparrow, CZ on Furlan. But I wouldn't be surprised if, as we usually see, they do somehow pull this round out of the bag. They always have these weird decision-making, shock and awe style plays that work for them on their low economy rounds. But let's see if that is going to affect them, or if NaVi will be able to lock this down here. Guardian, early face towards mid, hoping to see at least spot out and get some information, or possibly a kill. Then peeks in towards Banana, does see them, forces all three members to back off now as well, as they were encroaching down.
Seized first of all, the push going to be coming on in. Mihu's able to get one. The UMP of Mihu showing no signs of stopping. Does chain together a second. Guardian is able to trade both of those out, and it's Sparrow just waiting on the corner, actually going to allow Guardian to fall on back for the time being. He thinks someone's pushed down mid, but Bomb is going to get retrieved. This simple clearing out apps is going to be spotted by Ralin, and down he falls. Now it's all on Guardian, who does dispatch of Sparrow. 1v2. He's still got 3 frags. He's got to ace it to try and pull this one out the bag. But he's alone. He's all the way over towards B. And I mean, the long sight lines of this site, the smoke down and everything, this is perfect for him to just try and lock this down. Ralin and Ferlin, very little between them. A little bit of utility there to try and force him out. Ralin, the player with the most utility, is going to be coming in from Banana. Ferlin in CT, caught up close and personal with that CZ, but Guardian going to be coming up. Trumps finds the first. Ralin going to smoke the bomb, but doesn't have a kit. Got to act quickly here and find this frag if he wants to get the defuse. Guardian through the smoke, going to just jump on through, and he finds it completely blind, but quick on the trigger. Down goes Ralin as NaVi. They arrive at match point in style, 15-5. Kinguin, no money left on their CT side. Their backs against the wall, doing everything they can to try and stay afloat.
Much needed ace there. That final frag, absolutely fabulous as he locks it down. NaVi, just what they needed. Look at this match point at that point. Kinguin, that is going to hit them hard. They are not going to be happy about that. Nade comes through. Early splash damage will be distributed on towards Flamey, but it's not much, really. Just locks him down to 84. They're going to need more than that if they want to stop NaVi, as this could be the final round here. They could take this series 2-0, as Kinguin just don't have anything to work with, Harry. Their arsenals are weak. You have these CZs out, 1 Beagle or UMP. They do have a little mishmash of utility to play with that can slow down NaVi, but that's about it.
Now Mihu's over here towards Banana alone, and as he takes that very unnecessary aggressive peek, he falls. Suddenly this B site just wide open and looking rather succulent and delicious to make their way into. As you can see, NaVi sliding on up Banana. Taking it slowly, a little bit of an air of caution around them, not wanting to fall prey to these pistols that we know Kinguin are so strong with. As you can see, C's making some presence out towards top mid as well, denying the rotate of anyone on this A site. But I mean, Ralin has snuck in at least over towards Apps.
As you said, in the backline, once again, the actually vintage play from this man that we've seen on display. See if he's going to be able to cause as much as a stir as he did last time he tried this, though. Flashbang goes over from Mouse. Will slow down this oncoming onslaught from the B-bomb site. Edward will lead the charge, though. Sprints his way through, bounds in towards the site. Mouse actually does some work with that CZ. You can see Edward here hungry for another kill, though. Hoping he can stop him. He is close by, and the smoke, the push comes through all at once. They do culminate and converge together. Seized and Edward do some damage, though. There's Seized as well for number 1 into this round. There's the third from Seized. They lock it down. That is going to be a very quick matchup. Once again, NaVi close it out. They are going to take the series 2-0 with 2 dominant scorelines.
Yeah, and of course that does mean as well, based on what we see coming up next, they could find themselves now at the top of the table, which is fairly impressive, moving up above the likes of Astralis, depending on the outcome of the next game. So there's actually a lot riding on it and a lot of stuff we can discuss. But first, looking at what just went down there between NaVi and Kinguin. Well, I mean, what we saw kind of just across the board was that Kinguin, they couldn't quite keep up with them. There was a lot of issues still carried over from the initial first map, and a lot of problems that weren't fixed. As a matter of fact, if anything, they got a hell of a lot worse. Sparrow was absent, did kind of have a bit of a resurgence there in the second half, woke up a little bit, but it was too little too late, you got to feel like. A lot of reoccurring problems that we saw in the previous map as well, just some communication issues. When we did see them get those trades working efficiently, they did look to be a little bit more threatening. They got a couple of rounds together, but it was just, it was already too far gone for them to pull anything back.
It's true. It looked like before it got better, it just got far too bad, and it broke them. They just really didn't have too much to work with. Decision-making seemed questionable. They had rounds, but once again, were only won off the back of shock and awe-style CS and these weird ecos. Other than that, they just got pounded on, beaten and beaten. You can see rounds like this as well, where we just saw Guardian somehow pull out an ace to close it down, where they should have won it. They should have closed that round down, had a little bit more of a buffer to play with, but it just didn't happen. They were absent throughout the majority of the game, and it was a shame to see that actually go that way.
Yeah, and, I think towards the end that the spirits were low. They definitely weren't in it. Their hearts and minds, not entirely invested behind the game. We saw Mihu starting to take some very unnecessary peeks over towards Banana. The one that really kind of rings true is in that, I think it was the last round where he jumps over the top and Guardian finds him off the bat. The B site gets completely opened up. You can tell that they just weren't their usual selves. Meanwhile, when you look over at NaVi, firing on all cylinders. It was a spectacle from them to watch. A standout performance from Guardian. Simple had a great game as well, and they're kind of the two catalysts for success. But it didn't just stop there. Everyone did their part, and it was all in all a very strong performance from them. And I hope we can see that, carry through the rest of these games.
That's the thing. If NaVi can start playing like that once again up against that Tier 1 talent and just really dominate it through, find themselves back on that top spot, as they are a fabulous team to watch. That classic NaVi on display. But that's not it for today. That is the first series wrapped up. But obviously, coming up next is going to be Astralis versus Hellraisers, the team that is currently on top, the world's best, up against the team that's been biting at the heels of everyone. They're climbing their way up. Can Hellraisers somehow overpower Astralis and make it through? It'll be a huge upset. Find out after the break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, Legion by Lenovo, Mountain Dew League, and ESEA.